welcome to the Niagara Falls Comic Con. I'm Rockinboxes, Sean Rockinboxes. Rockinboxes presents, and I am sitting beside yet another Jason from Friday the 13th, Freddy versus Jason. Of course, Freddy isn't here. You beat him.
He's too scared.
You beat him.
Ran off. I don't know.
Welcome, Ken Kirtzinger. How are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
Thank you for doing this with me.
No problem.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
So, you're here at the con, and you enjoy. You're from Canada, and
Yeah.
so you've been to the falls, I guess, many a time.
No, actually,
Wow.
This is my first time, and I made a point of going down and checking them out yesterday after the convention, and they're beautiful. The town is gorgeous, and reminds me a little like Vegas of the North.
Yeah, I would say for sure.
I already gave some money to the casino.
Oh, look at that, eh? Oh, jeez. Did you do well, or
No.
obviously
Casino
by
won
giving
again.
it?
Yeah.
By giving it, you haven't gotten it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, you're a stuntman, and this whole Freddy and Jason thing. First off, how did you get the gig? Let's talk about
Good story. I went in to interview for the stunt coordinating job,
Yeah.
and I was talking to the producer, and he wasn't really listening to what I was saying, kind of looking at me, and he stops me and he goes, we've been looking for somebody about your build. He goes, would you be interested in auditioning to play Jason? And I said, sure. And so they took me into this room and gave me a really cheap Jason mask, and they read the opening scene and did a close-up of my eyes, and then they had me walk around the room. That was the audition. And then I had a quick meeting with Ronnie Yu, I think a couple days later, the director, and they gave me the job.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic. Now, Kane, he's done, the 4 Fridays. What's the difference, and how was it for you when it came to, the size and your movements and everything you did, even regarding the film? Like, what was the comparison? What's the comparison? Is there?
We talked, Ronnie and I talked before the movie to see if he wanted to emulate any of the other movement that any of the other Jasons had done, and he was very specific that he didn't want to do that. So he was going for a different look, and I think his concept was pretty good in that he wanted Jason to move very, very slowly until he did something, and that would accentuate, him killing people. So you'll see Jason walking very slowly, and then suddenly chop somebody in half, or suddenly cut their head off, or something, and it's startling. So I think that's the biggest difference between this Jason and all the other Jasons.
Right. Have you seen all of the movies, and which one would be your favorite?
I watched them all sort of over the years. When it came time to do Freddy versus Jason, I didn't sit down and watch them all again or anything like that. So, there's been years in between me seeing them all. But I'm going to say Freddy versus Jason.
Freddy versus Jason,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it was my favorite.
I'm going to switch gears a little bit here. You were in Toronto, and you were on the set of Incredible Hulk. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your role?
I was part of a big crowd scene of stunt people. There's a big battle between the Hulk and the other monster, and they're tearing up the streets and stuff like that. So we had army vehicles going by, and we had explosions and cars flipping over, and so I was one of the stunt people, sort of running in between all the vehicles and trying not to get hit by anything.
And they did that right on Yonge Street, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. I think we were there for about a week on Yonge Street.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Off camera here. How was the Zanzibar?
I don't know if I made it to the Zanzibar. I can imagine it's good.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My cameraman's like, don't ask any other questions. Can you just, you're stuntman, and I interviewed Steve Dash.
Yeah.
You know Steve well, and what on your sets was the most grueling, or did you have did you break any bones?
Over the years?
Yeah.
Yeah. Stunt work is like playing professional sport. If you do it long enough, you're gonna get injured. And if I had to try and remember all of that, I've broken everything but my baby toe, and I'd have to work my way up from there. But no, it takes its toll on you. You're constantly taking punches and crashing cars, and so that's hard on your neck. And I remember in one movie I fractured 3 vertebrae, doubling Jeff Goldblum because I had to fall 4 feet onto concrete, and countless other small injuries, fractured, broken ankles, and and stuff like that. But I grew up playing sports, so I was used to injuries and recovering, and but after a while, it adds up. It adds up. It's a young man's game.
Oh yeah, for sure. Wow, there you go. So obviously Robert isn't with us right now, and I wanted to ask you both, but you can tell me, what was your favorite scene in that movie?
Oh, it was the fight scene at the end. We shot that for over a week, I think, and getting to work with Robert and doing the fight stuff with Robert and working with the kids, and then of course working with the other stunt people. It was a lot of fun too. That's Robert.
There he is. Right there. All right. So there we go. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So during the movie itself, were you hurt on that film at all? Did you have?
No, I didn't get hurt on Freddy versus Jason. I remember at one point I step out of the house and the roof collapses. That hit me in the head.
Oh yeah.
but that was about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So guess what?
What?
Freddy is here.
Freddy's here.
Freddy is here.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Robert Englund, who has had quite the day here in Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls Comic Con, welcome.
Oh, so I'm having a great time. I got to see the fireworks last night over Horseshoe Falls.
Oh yeah,
it was pretty great.
That's great. Jason beat you to the fight today. What do you?
Well, look at this guy. Unless he falls asleep, I get my ass kicked.
So we were talking before you joined us. What was the favorite scene for you guys? He obviously said was the fight scene, and that was probably, I don't know, in Freddy versus Jason.
Well, I tell this story a lot, and Ken is an actor and a stunt coordinator, and he's worked on hundreds of movies, more than I have, and we were turning around, and it was Jason's big close-up, and he was going to march toward me real slow and methodically. And we were in the room on fire, and we'd had all of the fire bars out and moving them. Well, because Ken's done stunts before, they put a couple more extra flame bars behind Ken, and they kept turning them up on every take. And Ken, and it was great, and they were like getting in closer on Ken, and Ken was standing against this wall, and then he would move very slowly at me, and I'm waiting for him off camera so that he has a place to look at, and I'm taunting him. And then they would do it again. They would get tighter on Ken, or they would get looser, or they would correct the lighting. And every time they did it, they turned the flame bars up higher. And I'm looking at Ken, and Ken's kind of, got his John Wayne attitude, and he's moving at me real slow with his rolling gait, this Jason gait. And I'm looking, and all of a sudden, Ken's shoulders spontaneously combusted. They were smoking, and I was going, Ken, God, look, And then finally, one of the crew guys stepped in, and hit him in the back, with a fire extinguisher. But those costumes are flammable.
Yeah.
They're really flammable, and he's got way more stuff on than I do. He's got threads hanging on him, and his stuff is torn. And I was like, oh man, this isn't good. This isn't good. And Ken, it was like Ken had epaulets of smoke.
So the concept of Freddy versus Jason, okay, we were just discussing that, and the whole Batman versus Superman thing. When it first came out, what was your thoughts? What did you guys think? Do you think this would work?
I remember being with Robert, and we were in San Diego for the San Diego Comic Con, and we did a radio show there. And we came out of the radio show, and there was like 10, 15 kids waiting for us. And right then I said to Robert, I go, what if this came out and it was like #1 in the box office? and sure enough, it was 2 weekends in a row. Yeah.
It's there's this great, deep fan what if in the culture, and it goes way back to the 1930s. You can imagine guys sitting on their stoop back in the 1930s on their front porches in New York or Boston or Toronto. Couple of kids in the Depression sitting around and they're going, who do you think could win in a fight between Frankenstein and the werewolf? You know? And then they made that movie. And I remember for my hit series V being invited to be a grand marshal at a Thanksgiving parade in the capital of California, Sacramento. And this is fall of '84. And we shot the movie in the summer of '84, late spring and summer of '84, the first Nightmare movie. So I am now doing a promotion for V. Nightmare on Elm Street's come out. A biker, Hell's Angel, pulls up at the end of the parade, and I'm getting off my float, and I'm in my little dorky, you know, Willie the Alien outfit with my little bow tie and everything. And this biker comes up to me, and he rips off his shirt, and it's cold out. It's Northern California. It's Thanksgiving weekend, and he had a full Yakuza, Japanese-style, torso tattoo of Freddy versus Jason grappling, in that grappling wrestling thing. Went all the way around. It was contoured into his muscles, went down to his thighs. The guy literally showed me his butt crack because there was like tattoo down there. And now this is '84. And somebody had already tattooed themselves with Freddy versus Jason. So that was my first inkling that this was something in the sort of on the cultural drum beats of America, you know.
Wow, that's
because kids love that. It's like, who do you think would win, Alien or Predator? You know, Batman or Superman, Godzilla or King Kong? You know, they always want to know who'd win in a fight, and we happened to be one of those.
Would you guys ever see another one, a second, a prequel?
I think they're screaming for it. I don't know why they haven't done it already. But
Ken and I've had this discussion too. You know, drinking late at night, they left money on the table. I think Ken and I would agree to this. What we didn't know at the time was that we came within this close, Ken and I, of doing Freddy versus Jason versus Ash with Bruce Campbell, and Sam Raimi wanted to direct it, I think. And he wanted Bruce to win, which I thought was funny. I thought that'd be really funny, keeping the world safe from sequels, Ash. You know, and I could just see him, you know, with Bruce is getting on, you know, in years too, and I could just see Bruce with his like airbrushed abs, you know, with Ken in a headlock and me in a headlock, you know, and wind in his hair. But then the New Line was sold to Time Warner.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
and I mean, I was sure there was going to be another one. I didn't know it was going to be Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. Yeah. I thought they were thinking of maybe sticking Michael Myers in with us or something like that. Right. Yeah.
All right, well, this is my final question. I know you guys are busy, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time with me and my crew. Do you guys have anything coming up? Your side and Robert.
Go ahead, Robert.
Well, I've got a great new game out called Injustice 2. I'm the Scarecrow. I throw down with the entire DC universe. And I have a movie I think is going to be very interesting called The Midnight Man. I shot it up in Canada at the end of last year with Lynn Shay. And she's the star of the Insidious franchise. She plays the psychic. Right. So I think that might be interesting. And then at the con today, here we have a guest, Jeremy London.
Yes.
And Jeremy's twin brother, Jason, and I just did a movie over in Europe called Night World, and I play a kind of blind contemporary Von Helsing character, and I'm called out of retirement to help seal a portal that becomes unsealed. There are 7 portals to purgatory in the world, and it's kind of Twilight Zone-y and interesting. So, yeah, I think the fans are going to like those. One's kind of Twilight Zone, and Midnight Man is sort of that horror movie. Kind of like the one I did, Urban Legend. It's about the game you shouldn't play. Yeah. What are you up to?
Yeah, no, we're developing a movie called Crimson Creek Massacre, which we shot a trailer for. People can go see it.
I saw that last night. It's great, yeah.
And it's a Western sort of slasher movie with Willie Ames is starring in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And we've got the Soska sisters. And
Soska sisters, yeah.
And being directed by, actually written, directed, and produced by my good friend Laurel Chartrand. And so check that out. I think it looks great. I mean, the trailer that we did, I'm just so happy about the way it turned out. So yeah, keep an eye out for that.
That's fantastic. All right, hey guys, thank you so much for doing
welcome.
this.
Okay.
And you guys enjoy the rest of the time here. Wow, I can't believe I'm sitting in front of. Do you have anything to tell anybody? Just can you do that laugh for us?
The laugh. Well, look at it. It used to be Freddy versus Jason. Now it's Freddy versus his right foot. So I'm kind of, hors de combat, as they say.
So you want to give us the laugh?
Oh. Cut.